Now, the conclave to select the next pontiff is due to start next Wednesday, May 7th. The outcome will decide which direction the Catholic Church is headed after the death of the late Pope Francis. France 24's Clovis Casali has just returned from Rome, where he covered the Pope's funeral. Great to see you, Clovis. Welcome back. Now, the Vatican and how it operates is centuries old, isn't it? What struck you the most when covering the Pope's funeral?
Well, I've got a picture for you. It's from inside the St. Peter Basilica when the Pope was lying in state. And I was struck really by the silence inside. You had long queues outside, and then when people managed to enter the Basilica, that's the final stretch just before they can pay their respects to the wood coffin and the body, of course, of Pope Francis. And you had a security agent just in front of the coffin, making sure, waving a lot, making sure that people would swiftly walk by, because they were trying to ensure that as many people as possible would go inside and not stop and take pictures and so on. But there was a group of nuns and few people 10 meters away who'd managed to find a place where the security agent couldn't move them, and one woman on her knees praying, people really trying to seize the moment and be there as long as possible to pay their respects in a very special atmosphere. I mean, St. Peter's Basilica, a masterpiece of architecture.
Stunning, isn't it? Yeah.
Michelangelo artworks everywhere. I mean, absolutely stunning views there.
Now, you've covered, a lot of things for us here as a correspondent, lots of high-profile funerals as well. How does this compare?
I have to say, I was expecting more after coming, for instance, from the UK, where we saw the funeral of the Queen. In the UK, it was a lot more sorrow and grief, more people on the streets also, people queuing, sleeping at night to try to find a spot. It was a lot calmer in the Vatican. And back in 2016, I was a Southeast Asia correspondent, and I was there when the King of Thailand died, Pumipona Nuriade, and that was huge. Mourning for a whole year, people dressed in black, and again, a lot more pain and grief that you could feel. Doesn't mean there wasn't emotions on the streets of Rome, and especially the Vatican. But this time it wasn't a national event, it was an international event. It was drawing Catholics from around the world, less people, even though we're talking 400,000 people on the streets of Rome in St. Peter's Square and on the route along for the procession, with, of course, the body of Pope Francis being moved from St. Peter's to St. Mary Major Basilica, which is outside the Vatican. And that was a strong symbol also because in 120 years, no Pope had been buried outside the Vatican.
So who are some of the front runners, we should be looking at once this conclave starts?
Well, it's difficult to say because there are several candidates, and also because it's all happening behind closed doors in the Vatican. What we do know, power dynamics clearly at play. You've got different sides, some more progressives, some more conservatives, a lot of negotiations going on. Most of the cardinals, of the 133 cardinals who will get to choose the next pope, well, they were named by Pope Francis. So you can imagine that they should have similar views as him. They should be in the progressive side of the Vatican, but they don't know each other necessarily, and that's why they're traveling also to get to know each other. I mean, they were traveling to the Vatican anyway, but in the Vatican now, they can talk, see, find maybe common grounds. Maybe maybe the next pope will come from the Pope Francis side, if you will. I spoke to Father Fortunato, who's the spokesperson for the St. Peter's Basilica. He was extremely close to Pope Francis. Pope Francis is the one who named him in this position, and I asked him what to expect from the conclave. Take a listen.
I think that conclave is always the surprise of God. Generally, I answer at this question that the new Pope will come from the roof, il tetto, no, in the sky. Our conversation are the first floor, but the Pope come from the roof in the sky. No?
Father Fortunato saying it's very difficult to predict who would win. One name is coming up, and he's from the Philippines. It's Luis Tagle. And when we were on St. Peter's Square, there was a group of Asian Catholics. Maybe they would hope for someone from Asia to be elected Pope, because very often It is the case that it's that you want to have someone representing you. Remember from in Argentina the huge enthusiasm when Pope Francis was chosen. Here on this picture you can see a family from Asia, all wearing a very specific T-shirt, Papa Francesco, and behind the picture you had more people from the same family. There were 10 of them who turned up in St. Peter's Square, who travelled especially for this event. And surely they would be quite happy if it was someone from the Philippines. Again, hope in Africa that it could be a pope chosen from an African country. A lot of difficult decisions to be made, and very difficult to predict, especially who it will be. The conclave will be starting on May the 7th. Could take 2 days, could take a week.
I know. Who knows? It's just like the film which was recently in the cinemas as well. That
Excellent
power,
raw fiend.
exactly, the power dynamics at play. Clovis, thank you very much for that. Clovis Casali there, who is recently back from the Vatican.